I don't need them to go back to the 70s Yankees Red Sox where they were literally beating each other up and they actually hated each other. We don't need that. We also don't need it to be like when Pedro was throwing at people. But there's got to be some sort of something where you move this guy off the plate and make him feel a little uncomfortable, because I'm sick and tired of it.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. Look who's back. It's Brian. Brian.
I had a life-altering week, and it wasn't because the Yankees stink. So I'm back. I'm glad to be back. Thank you all for supporting me and sticking by me through this troubling time. So Stace, I appreciate you a lot. I really do.
Whatever you need, I am here for you. I'm sorry that the Yankees couldn't make your weekend any better. For the love of God, but we'll get into that in a second. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We just passed 6,600 subscribers. Like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when those videos go live. Coming up on today's show, the Yankees are ending the first half. If you're not watching, I did air quotes, with a road trip to Tampa and Baltimore. So that could be a nightmare. We're going to talk about that in segment 3. We will also do Minors Monday like we always do. But first, let's talk about the weekend, because it could have been a 2 out of 3 win for the Yankees if Friday goes different. But of course, Friday went the way it went. And then Sunday, good Lord.
Now, Sunday should have been a win. I'm sorry. With the way Luis Gil pitched, I guess you could take the confidence out of the game with Luis Gil and look at the fact that, after 3 really bad starts, it looks like he kind of figured something out and he found something. That's a good sign. Yeah. But regardless, I mean, they can't beat Boston. They can't. And they beat him up Saturday, and that's good to see. But you can't follow up games like Saturday with games like Sunday. Yeah, that's not what good teams do. That's what bad teams do. Bad teams score 14 runs in one game and then get shut out the next game.
Yeah. Kind of like, not that they were bad last year, but the Padres had that issue last year where they'd win games like 10-0 and then they'd be shut out the next day. And the thing about it is Cutter Crawford came into the game with a 3.47 ERA. It wasn't 4.37. If it was 4.37, I would have expected the performance that he had on Sunday night. So much early swinging in the counts, just making things really easy for him. They weren't making any solid contact off him. He's not a terrible pitcher, but he's not the kind of pitcher that shuts a team out like that and only has 68 pitches through, 5-6 innings. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it was embarrassing. And I was annoyed. And also, I am not a proponent of violence. And I'm not meaning that they should throw at him, but can someone make Rafael Devers a little uncomfortable at the plate? Just a little uncomfortable at the plate.
Not even that. Not even that. Don't pitch to him. Don't give him pitches to hit.
The last home run, the pitch was out of the zone. Like, it's just, it was that kind of a night for him. Like Tonkin, I don't think was trying to pitch to him, but I can't take it. He hasn't reached David Ortiz levels of hatred for me. Not yet. But it's close. It's getting there.
It's got the same theme as Ortiz, though, in the fact that, the Yankees for years refused to pitch inside of David Ortiz. He commanded the entire left batting box, and nobody wanted to push him off. And I don't know why. It's like a respect thing, but they do the same thing with Devers.
Yeah, it's stop respecting them.
Well, and the thing is, too, Devers has dominated them for a while now.
Yeah.
This has not been for a year. This is for years now.
Oh, yeah.
He has 15
home runs at Yankee Stadium now, because it was 15 before the second home run of the night for him. He is, I saw a list. He's like up there with Jim Rice now with how many home runs he's hit against the Yankees. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm sick and tired of I don't need them to go back to the 70s Yankees Red Sox where they were literally beating each other up and they actually hated each other. We don't need that. We also don't need it to be like when Pedro was throwing at people. But there's got to be some sort of something where you move this guy off the plate and make him feel a little uncomfortable, because I'm sick and tired of it. I really
there's
am.
not much of a rivalry anymore because the Red Sox win all the games. See, it's not a rivalry when you're not splitting off wins and it becomes difficult. Right now, and I know I wasn't here last week, but they played the same way. This is a bad baseball team right now. That's what the Yankees have become, and it's sad because
on Saturday.
It's sad because of the way the season started, though. With the way the season started, they shouldn't be as bad as they are, and they don't score runs. They don't pitch well anymore. Give me this, Yankee fans. In the month of June, really since June 1st, and now we're at July 8th, but since June 1st, what do the Yankees do well? Seriously. What do they excel at? Because there's nothing they do. They haven't won a series since June 5th. They're not playing to their potential, and it scares me into thinking, is their potential what they are right now? No. Or were they playing over their head early on in the season?
I said this on the show. I did a live stream Saturday, and I said, they're not as good as they were at the beginning of the season, but they're also not as bad as they are right now. They're somewhere in the middle of that, you know?
They're one of the worst teams in the league right now, though. Statistically, they legitimately are one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh, yeah. They've lost 16 of their last 22 games. They failed to win 7 straight series.
Yeah.
That's the run that they're on right now.
Think about when the season started, how many straight series they had won coming into the year. And think about how bad this year could look right now if they didn't get off to the start they got off to. I mean, you got to look at a lot of these things. And it's sad, too, because you have Judge and Soto both playing at MVP levels. But those are the only 2 players you have doing anything. I mean, you're going to have Judge go into the All-Star break with 35 homers, more than likely, with 90 RBIs. You're not scoring runs. You're not running the bases, which I don't know why they've decided to not try and steal a base in 20 games. That's stunning to me. Longest streak since 1964 without trying to steal a base. That's weird to me. The starting pitching staff has been awful. I mean, highlighted by Carlos Rodon. Luis Gil's fallen off, but Carlos Rodon has been as atrocious as he was last year. The bullpen has completely fallen off. I think Clay Holmes getting an all-star nod today was one of the most bogus things I've ever seen in my life. No, you put Clay Holmes in the all-star game. I'm sorry, Stacey. It has to do with the whole first half. And I know he was great in the first 2 months, but since the start of June, the Yankees' tumble has been his tumble too. He's got like an 8 ERA.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been awful since the start of June. I don't know how he got in the all-star game. It's crazy if you go back to that all-star game episode that we had of what players were going to wind up in the all-star game and the amount of guys you'd strip off that list now.
Yeah.
Because it's just Soto and Judge that deserve to go.
You know, if you're going to penalize Gil for having a bad few weeks, why wouldn't you do the same for Clay Holmes? Because it's the same.
I don't get it. They did the same thing to Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe was an all-star. He was, and now all of a sudden he's not. Because that can happen if you struggle. I'm not taking that away from you, but I mean, Clay Holmes has been awful since the start of June. He's literally has like an 80 ERA. He's been terrible. And somehow, for some reason, too, Clay Holmes got in the All-Star game. I don't understand how that happened at all. Listen, it's been bad. It's been as bad advertised. I mean, it's literally been that bad.
This is the 3rd season in a row that this team has gone on. Like we keep seeing like, oh, they haven't done this since such and such a year. They haven't done this in 40 years. They haven't done this in 30 years. And it's like, when is Hal going to wake up? When's Cashman going to wake up? It's not just the players. Like, someone has to wake this team up. And if someone's going to get fired, I don't want them to fire some like assistant hitting coach that we've never heard of before. No. Like, you really need to do something, because this is the thing that drives me crazy. And we'll go to segment 2 after this. They have this attitude where they think they could just turn it on. Like, Stanton's going to come back. Clark Schmidt's going to come back.
Yep.
F. Ross will come back. You know, maybe like Ian Hamilton and some of the other guys who were injured will come back. And they think that they'll be able to turn it on again and play like they were playing in the beginning of the season. And you just can't. Yeah. And you can't expect that to happen. You can hope it will, but they play with that same mindset. And it's happened so many seasons in a row now.
Yep.
When are they going to learn that that's not the way things are working for your team? That's not the way the things work for the New York Yankees right now. Like, you really need to, Judge just, I'm sure he's a great captain, like within the clubhouse because he's cool with the guys, but someone needs to start yelling at everyone. I'm sorry. They need to someone needs to flip a table. Someone needs to get a little angry because there is no 16 out of 22. Are you kidding me?
And you gotta start to talk about this manager.
You were 50-22 before this stretch. 50-22. And how many wins do you have now? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I can't, something needs to happen.
We're going to get into it tomorrow on tomorrow's episode. I've determined that. If you're a Locked On Yankees fan, you're going to want to be on segments. I mean, you should be on every segment, but segments 1 and 2 of next episode, we're going to go after some people because it's been embarrassing. And no one's speaking up. No one's saying anything about it. Everyone's acting like, we've been on a little bit of a rut here. This isn't a rut. This has been for a month and a half now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, even though it's 16 of the last 22 games, and yes, they were 50-22, you saw cracks beginning before this stretch, and you thought, maybe they'll avoid the nosedive. Nope. They're on a 300-foot giga coaster.
Yep.
Going straight down, like one of those 90-degree hills that they have on those crazy hybrid wooden metal roller coasters. That's what they're on right now.
And unless something's fixed, it's going to burn down in a fiery crash because it's looking like that right now. I mean, there's no one on this team that you could convince me deserves to keep their job right now in a managerial role. There isn't. Right. Managerial, front office, nobody. Because was the team built sort of well? Sure. But also, you brought back Anthony Rizzo, who was, I don't want to hear about the injury. He was hitting 100 before the injury. And you brought him back. Labor, there was no plan for any of these guys to get hurt. Any replacement idea? Nothing. And you got lucky with Luis Gil being as good as he's been in the start of the year. You got really lucky. And you saw once Gil couldn't figure it out for a few starts, you saw what it turned into. So next episode, we're going to get into a lot of that.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, Miners Monday. We have some positive things to talk about, but also some negative stuff. We're going to get into it. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for the next Fan Mail Friday. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. I noticed a couple of newbies in there. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions. We have conversations. I was having some this weekend. They were fun. There's a 14-day free trial. So again, coming up next, it's Miners Monday.
PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. With the finals over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is still heating up, and with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves, alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Naja Wilson, you can win up to 100 times your cash watching them all ball out. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Here on Locked On Yankees, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team. Whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, it's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, you can call 1-800-549-1000, or you can visit tnusa.com/lockedon. You can see the link in the episode description below. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So speaking of the Yankees, the farm system was off Sunday and Monday, and they will be off, obviously, for All-Star break. They don't have an All-Star game, but Futures game, and we're going to talk about a couple of the people who are going to be in the Futures game in a little bit. But first, we're going to start with Scranton. We spoke about Will Warren and how awful his outing was last weekend and how he was improving, and then that outing kind of took him a couple of steps back. Well, Scranton lost on Saturday, but it was not Will Warren's fault. He went 6 innings, only gave up 1 run on 2 hits, did not walk anyone, struck out 11, and the 1 run was on a solo shot, a home run. But no walks and 11 strikeouts, which was a new career high for him. That's a good sign. It's a good sign to see someone bounce back from a tough start the outing before.
It shows a lot of mental strength out of a young player, and that's what you kind of need.
Mm-hmm. So his season ERA is still a bloated 6.64, but again, good to see him bounce back from that really bad start last weekend and come out and have this strong outing. Like, unfortunately, his teammates didn't help him out. They lost the game, but again, no walks and 11 strikeouts is pretty incredible. So good for him. And his teammate, let's talk about Agustin Ramirez. Back-to-back homers or back-to-back games with homers. 4 of his last 8 games. He's hit home runs. He's also on a 5-game hitting streak. And after starting 1 for 24 with Scranton, he's 9 for 30 with 4 home runs, 8 runs batted in. And overall, his numbers, including his numbers with Somerset, he is batting .270, .358, .539 in 324 plate appearances. He has 14 doubles, a triple, 20 home runs, 58 runs batted in. He's scored 54 times, and he's 16 for 17 in stolen bases.
He could use them on the Major League roster when it comes to those stolen base numbers. I can tell you that, because the Yankees just decided they're not going to do that anymore.
Right. It's not like they have guys, they don't have guys who can do that on the Major League level.
No.
Let's move down to Somerset. Okay.
Oh, here's the doozy. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. Your guy, Spencer Jones, slumping again. Last 3 games, 0 for 12, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. So it's like the opposite of Will Warren's start. His K rate is now 37.2. Yikes.
The promised one.
Yikes.
The chosen one.
Yeah. Brock Selvage also had a rough time Saturday. 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. He gave up 2 home runs. It's only the 3rd time in his career, and it was his 50th start, where he's allowed multiple home runs. But the funny thing is, these 2 guys are repping the Yankees at the Futures game.
Can't wait.
Well, I'll
be there.
Things happen. So overall, he has a 4.25 ERA in 84 2/3 innings. He's given up 50 runs, 40 of them earned. He's given up 6 home runs. He's walked 40, struck out 83, and he's given up 78 hits. So, yeah, I mean, things happen. Going down to Hudson Valley. Yeah, going down to Hudson Valley. Rock Riggio, second baseman, has a 21-game on-base streak. He was 0 for 2 on Saturday, but he had 2 walks, so that kept the on-base streak going. He has 6 stolen bases and 6 walks in 5 July games, and he has not been caught stealing since May 10th, so he has 10 straight successful attempts. Again, someone else, the big club.
At least they're trying to develop it in the minors, right? You can say that.
Right. Yeah. See, that's a good sign. Shortstop Jared Serna, my favorite short king, we'll call him, went 2 for 4 against Brooklyn in a win on Saturday. It's his 19th multi-hit effort. He has 50 doubles in 197 games over the last 2 seasons.
That's really good.
So, good for him. Down in Tampa, George Lombard Jr., we talked about him last week and how young he is because he was born June 2nd, 2005. That date will never leave my head. So far in July, he's 6 for 21 with a triple and a homer. He struck out only 3 times, which lowers his K rate to 21.5. So he's going in the opposite direction than other guys in the system. Speaking of that, shortstop Roderick Arias is having the opposite problem, and he's seen his strikeout rate jump to 34.7.
He'll be great in the majors.
Yeah, he'll fit in right. He'll fit in well. Yeah, so that's your minors update. And, you guys should be familiar with these names by now. And I think by next week, I'm not going to say second base Rock Riggio. You're going to know that he plays second base. You're going to know that Jared Cerna plays shortstop. And you're going to know George Lombard Jr. is also a second baseman. And Roderick Arias is also a shortstop. All right, coming up next, we're going to discuss the importance of the last 2 series of the first half.
I love sports. I love them so much, and I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. And all I have to do is open the app and dream up the bets anytime that I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everybody every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. You want to play some MLB bets? Great. But you can also place bets now on the Home Run Derby, the MLB All-Star Game. You want to get Pete Alonso in there? You want to get any of the Orioles players that are going to be in there? You can bet on the Home Run Derby and many other things all over FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
This episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. It's summer. That means baseball, but summer also means travel. So why not mix the two? Don't you think it's time you explored some of those cities across the country that you secretly wanted to learn about? Yes, we're talking about the Yankees' rival cities. Planning a trip to Fenway to see the Yankees take on the Red Sox, Booking.com makes it a breeze. And it's not just about hotels. You can choose from a variety of accommodations like bed and breakfasts just outside of Boston, vacation rentals, resorts, and more, all with the convenience of Booking.com. On Booking.com, you can find the perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. And for Yankee fans, that means more than just Boston. It means Baltimore and Tampa, too. And you can do that this coming week when the Yankees play those 2 teams. You can book hotels that overlook stadiums or book family-friendly resorts. Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or in the Booking.com app. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available in the free Fire TV Channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. I was actually going to be on Locked On Sports Today at first, and then I said to them, get Gabby from Locked On Red Sox. What do I have to talk about? And they said, okay, we got Gabby. Thank you, because I didn't want to talk about that. It's bad enough I was talking about it on this show. I didn't need to talk about it on Lost as well. Oh, you're muted.
Good.
Well,
it's been
back.
It's been as bad as you can imagine for the Yankees over the last month. It really, and that's the thing too. It feels like the weekend went bad, right? But this weekend has been every weekend, really, since that Red Sox series in Fenway. Ugh. It really feels like it all turned after the Alex Verdugo home run.
Yeah, actually,
they went into that series playing well, and then it all fell apart.
I don't know. I feel like it started with the Dodgers series, right? Dodgers.
That was
Atlanta.
Bad too. Yeah.
Yeah, it started a little earlier than the Red Sox, but the really bad play, like really just awful, having like mini losing streaks and then winning one game and then going on another losing streak, that started, with the Red Sox in Fenway.
They've been the worst team in baseball, the Yankees. I mean, it's that That honest.
I mean, my God. And the White Sox have like 25 wins, and the Yankees have still been playing worse than them the past few weeks. So that shows you how bad the Yankees have been.
That's actually true, though. I mean, they've been worse than the Chicago White Sox, who are on a historically bad pace.
I mean, I knew, but then I looked at the standings and I thought, wow, like we're over the halfway mark. Like I was joking earlier about first half because they always say the All-Star break is, but we're past the actual first half. And when you look at what the White Sox are doing, yikes. Like they could possibly only win like maybe 45 to 50 games if they're lucky. They're
historically bad.
That is so bad. Yeah. And the Yankees are right there with them right now.
They've needed this for the last month. We've been saying it for the last month, but they need the All-Star game in the worst way.
Yeah, but it's not great that they're playing like a team who needs the All-Star break this long before the All-Star break. Like it's one thing for a team to kind of stumble into the All-Star break, maybe the series before it, or maybe even 2 series before it. But we're going on 4 weeks of this now. Like through this road trip, these next 6 games, that's going to make it 4 weeks of this. And you can't do that. Like no matter how big your lead is, you can't do that.
It's very, I feel like that Mets series is a microcosm of the way it's going for the two, because the Mets are 500 now. They've worked their way all the way back up, and the Yankees have gone in the complete opposite direction. It's been a complete nosedive. I mean, they've been terrible. And there's a lot of things to dive into, right? I think the general manager's at fault a little bit too, but I think it's the manager. I think this again, the bad play, I can't excuse, but the fact that the 4-hitter through 9-hitter are automatic outs is a problem. The fact that Ben Rice is now your leadoff hitter. I mean, who the heck saw that coming? There's a lot, and that wasn't some gem that Cashman found from the waiver wire. That's not what that is. You have a lot of bad play going on. It's really Judge, Soto, and a bunch of guys that are just not hitting. But then you couple that with the starting rotation not pitching, and you couple that with the bullpen not being able to pitch. You're looking at a lot of bad things going on all at once, and this is why they continuously lose games. And I don't know how going into these next 2 series against Tampa and against Baltimore that they're going to somehow win those games. Like, how could you have a positive outlook going into these 2 series? How? Well,
I don't have a positive outlook going into Baltimore. Definitely not.
At all.
I think they can be okay in Tampa. I think they can do what they did in Toronto. I know Toronto was a 4-game series and it was a split, but the Yankees have done okay against the Rays this season. The Rays aren't the Rays of the past. You know, they had some trouble with, I think, the White Sox at some point. So I'm a little, and it's weird because I can't stand when the Yankees go to Tropicana Field. It's my least favorite ballpark in MLB. And, you know, over the last few seasons, it's been like a nightmare for them. But this team is not the same as it was the Rays. Not the same as it's been for the last few years because, you know, they lost a lot of guys. Randy Arozarena is not playing the way he was batting. I think I saw he was batting like 170, which what? So, of course, now that I said that, he'll wake up against the Yankees. So you're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
Typical.
But I just, like you said, everything that went right for them in those first 2 months, the rotation being incredible. Guys were hitting, and it wasn't just Judge and Soto. Judge wasn't even hitting in April. Everyone was contributing, and the bullpen looked incredible. And now all 3 of those facets of the game are looking awful. So again, they're not as good as they were in April and May and into June, and they're not as bad as they are right now. There's some sort of middle in there. Plus, the Stanton injury was so big. These games would have gone different with Stanton in the lineup. The last couple of series would have gone different with Stanton in the lineup with the way he was hitting. I mean, he is such a big loss. And I think Yankee fans are finally realizing how big a loss he is in the lineup. So the good news is Boone said the other day that he's progressing really well. And
I'll believe it when I see it. I don't want to hear it.
Oh no, but he's already hitting. So
yeah, I mean, great. But I mean, how many times have we heard those stories about Stanton? Oh, he's close, and then 4 weeks later, he's still not back. We've heard this.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he'll be back after the All-Star break.
I hope so. Because we've heard these stories about Stanton for the longest time, and he doesn't come back on time. So I hope I hope he's back in time. It would be nice.
It would be. It'd be very nice. The other thing I want to say quickly about this team is it's not just that they're not hitting the net, but like some of the plays that they're making, like the Grisham play against the Reds the other day.
There's no focus.
Like the focus is gone. The swagger is gone.
But who does that land on? But whose fault is that? When your team's not focused, whose fault is that? Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And again, you guys, you're gonna want to tune in tomorrow because tomorrow's episode is gonna get into all that. It will, because it's unacceptable. The play is unacceptable. I mean, the lazy play. I know Grisham is a smooth player, but there was an opportunity after that play to really make a statement publicly, and the manager decided not to do it and to defend him. And to me, that was not a defensible play.
And then he played the next day. Like they benched Glaber after his, not running hard to first base, and that wasn't as bad as what Grisham did in the field. Like you can't half-ass it. You really can't. You can't punish one guy for doing something and not punish another guy for doing something just as bad in the field.
We're gonna get into it tomorrow. It's gonna be a gauntlet tomorrow. You guys are gonna want to listen. You are.
Yeah, it's I'm gearing up for it.
You should be, because we're going full head steam, because that's how angry it's gotten both of us. So there's gonna be a lot of people that need their heads examined, and we're gonna try and examine them a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're also going to preview the Tampa series. We'll preview the pitching matchups and do what we normally do in our segment 3. So one more time, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos and a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to the games, or you can leave your questions under the pinned comment on our YouTube videos to get your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. If you're an insider, you get top priority, but if you're a YouTuber, we'll still answer your questions, even if they are 302 words long, Robbie Garnes. That was funny. I did Fan Mail Friday on Saturday, and it was like an essay. He's a writer, though, so I expect it from him. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this angry edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.